Hello, composers! As always, begin the week by going over the pieces your classmates created last week and filling out the feedback form. Continuing with writing music for two people, this week we're going to work on bridging the gaps between the players, as opposed to last week where one person was melody and the other was harmony. Let's start by looking at imitation as a way to trade roles. Traditionally, imitation is the direct copying of material from one part to another. Generally, one player introduces an idea, and then it's copied in another part. It can change register as needed, and can also change pitch to accommodate a key change, or in the case of a fugue, to produce a tonal answer. Imitation can also overlap with the original to create a duet at the octave or unison. This is a really great way to swap parts. If one player has a melodic phrase while the other plays harmony, they can easily exchange and trade roles. This can be used to extend a section, creating a chain of melody-harmony pairs that switch roles and then repeat with new material. Think of the way in which two rows of teeth on a zipper line up, alternating and linking together. But this is a little predictable and becomes stale really quickly. Let's get out of classical and look to jazz for a potential solution to the problem. Think of a typical call and response. One person starts by playing a phrase, then the rest of the ensemble will respond with the same phrase. This can be a motive, a measure, or a smaller length phrase. Here, the role of the leader and followers is very clearly defined, but it doesn't have to be. In jazz, for example, it's very common to trade phrases or groups of measures, trading fours, for example, where the second player imitates the end part of the first player's phrase as a point of departure for their own additions. The first player then picks up on that and adds a new second half, and the cycle repeats. Similarly, an imitated phrase can transform or mutate the original by adding small alterations to the repeated section, gradually moving away from the original and to a new idea, and even becoming the basis of a solo. Let's look at this idea of imitation in the strictest form. Everybody knows the song, "Row, row, row your boat." It starts with a simple phrase, but new parts can jump in at the beginning of each measure, imitating exactly the phrase from the beginning. This creates an overlapping sequence of copies, and if you notice, the tonic triad is reinforced continually. But this is a slightly extreme example. Imitation is usually handled with more subtlety than that. It's a good start, though. A better example is this week's listening, the presto from Mozart's Sinfonia Concertante. Listen to the interplay between the violin and viola soloists and see if you can find where they imitate each other. Who's leading, who's following, and how do they get in and out of it? Here's a hint. Imitation is all over the place, with the soloist constantly trading roles from melody to harmony.